Thank you for watching this Last Mile Profits video.
Light fingers and parcels. You wouldn't immediately think that the two go together, but take a look at the latest Last Mile Profits video to find out what we mean when we talk about light fingers and parcel issues.
Experience the future of convenience with modern Expo parcel lockers. Cutting-edge innovations that bring parcel delivery to a fundamentally new level. Follow the link in the description to find the best solution for your business.
Gary, I think I got a saying wrong because I had a saying which I thought was light fingers make easy work. And I'm not sure if that's right, but we're going to talk about light fingers in a different way today. It's a story that you picked up on. So do you want to spill the beans? And this is a real day for sayings, isn't it? And share a bit more about it.
Yeah, we're going to have to find new cliches, Marek. That's going to be the challenge, I think. This was a story in the paper that was one of these requests for information things that happened in the UK, where journalists wrote to all of the police forces in the UK and asked for the data on shoplifting. Now, we don't normally talk about shoplifting in our little podcast, but it made me think about PUDO and the challenges that the retailers of the UK face. There's been something like a 90% drop in the number of prosecutions for shoplifting, but an exponential increase in the number of shoplifting offences. And this has been driven by one main thing, a change in legislation that has decriminalised, almost completely decriminalised, many shoplifting offences. So either formally or informally, police forces across the UK won't investigate a shoplifting for less than £100 worth of goods. So what
probably is going to cover the vast majority of parcels.
Well, it's not the parcels that are being stolen, but it's the retailer's time is being distracted by dealing with basically a pandemic of crime. So people are coming in and specifically adding up to make sure they get £95 worth of goods stuffed in their coat or their shoes or their bag or whatever and leaving. And it is a massive distraction in store. So if you're faced with handling parcels over the counter or dealing with this huge problem in store, your attention's going to be placed in one direction only, isn't it?
I got you. Well, to be fair, some of the places, but they're not in the UK, that we visited recently, they've been inundated with parcels, particularly at peak. And you do have parcels that are not just behind the counter, but in the sort of publicly accessible area. But I guess in this particular case in the UK, that's not going to be typical. And we're more talking about the distraction.
And you've got another force on these shopkeepers as well, is the availability and the cost of labour. So they're struggling to recruit, struggling to retain staff, and really trying to keep overheads under control. So to employ somebody to watch the shop and bring parcels to and fro, and somebody else to basically take the money over the till for people that are legitimately buying stuff, you're being pulled in all directions. So why do I care? Because I think this is another powerful reason why you're seeing more and more large retail chains pushing out PUDO over the counter and asking for lockers to be put in. It's one less thing to be worried about. I hadn't thought of the thing you mentioned, that badly stored parcels in the shop are also at risk of being light fingered. You know, this is the phrase. And also, we in a previous podcast we talked about lucky dip. I mean, it's it. You come in, you fill your pockets with chocolate bars, and you pay lucky dip in the parcels.
As long as you're lucky and in your dip, the parcel is under £100 in value, because otherwise you're in trouble.
Well, again, who's responsible for that? You know, it's there is a chain of custody issue. You know, it's dropped off by the carrier. You're waiting for its rightful owner to come and retrieve it. It's in the good custody of the shopkeeper for now. It's probably the highest risk point in its journey, to be honest. So, you know, most PUDOs don't have this problem. Most of them do an absolutely fantastic job. My heart is out to them, because this is more pressure to try and to scrape a living along in a policing environment that's made almost called open season on small shops.
And Gary, I remember that one of the things that people worried about at the beginning with lockers was security. And I don't know about you, but in all of the networks that we've supported, we've never seen a big issue. You know, the classic story was people would be talking about, you know, a locker where someone drives up in a truck, takes some kind of, you know, steel, rope of some kind, pulls the thing out of its location and steals it. I just haven't seen anything like that happen.
No, I mean, it would be disingenuous to say that lockers are never damaged and people never try to try that. But again, the reward versus the effort is fairly low. These things are secure. They're bolted to the ground or bolted to the wall. The locks are all built to a certain ISO standard, as are the frames, etc., and weatherproof, etc. You've got to try pretty darn hard. And if after all that you pulled out some sort of second-hand vintage T-shirt for all your effort, you're probably going to be pretty disappointed that you hadn't used your criminal mastermind experience elsewhere.
So we come back to the lucky dip again. You don't know, even if you do decide to steal something from a locker, what are the chances it's going to have a good enough value? And of course, most lockers also have surveillance videos, and the risk that the police might come and catch you in mid-act. Okay, so I think the moral of the story is don't try and steal from a locker. If it's over £100, don't steal from a shop. And actually, if you're a good person, don't steal at all.
I'm glad you said that, Marek, because that was turning into a how-to guide for petty thieves. It was. I think we were pointing the advice in the wrong direction there. It's more about how to protect the parcel, I think, which should be our focus. But we don't always want to agree.
I think you're right, Gary. So let's just say, be a good person, don't steal. And above all, remember to like and subscribe to keep this show free for your enjoyment and perhaps for a few laughs.
Thanks for watching this Last Mile Profits video. For more up-to-date last mile news and analysis, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn.